Hello and welcome to another video to teach you about the wonderful world of Latin. In today's video, we're going to add two tenses to your understanding of first and second conjugation verbs. We will add the imperfect, or one of the past tenses, and the future tense. Remember that a tense is telling you about when something happened. So if we look on this nice timeline of Latin tenses, the present tense of verbs like, you know already, video, is talking about what's happening now. And the future tense and the imperfect tense we can locate elsewhere on this timeline. But before we do that, let's add one more quality of verbs and their tenses that are helpful to understand the difference between the imperfect and the perfect tense. Verb tenses have aspect. By aspect, we mean whether or not the action is ongoing or continuous, and whether or not the verb is complete. So, with the present tense, it has both the completed aspect, I see the chariot, or it has the ongoing aspect, I watch the chariot race around the track. Both of these aspects can be communicated through video. One happens once, it's done, I see the chariot. One is an ongoing action that happens over time or is a habitual action, I watch the chariot race around the track. The future tense, so what happens after the present, videbo, will be a tense that communicates both a completed and ongoing action. I will see the chariot, or I shall watch the chariot race around the track. You can use will or shall to communicate the future tense. And the future tense verb, videbo, can mean I will see the chariot sitting in the track, or I will watch the chariot race around the track. One's a one-time completed action, one is a habitual action that is ongoing. Imperfect tense, however, one of your past tenses, one of the things that happens before the present. The imperfect tense has the ongoing continuous habitual aspect. I was seeing the chariot race around the track, or I used to watch the chariot race around the track. Either of those are possible translations for the imperfect. I was seeing or I used to see. Those can both mean videbam in Latin. So where does the completed aspect of the past tense happen? That in English we could use the same verb. In Latin, however, we would use a different verb, a different tense of the verb. Witty, the perfect verb, I saw or I have seen. I saw the chariot in the track. I have seen the chariot in the track. It is a completed action that happens like once. So you use two different tenses in Latin for the past tense, whereas in English we may only use one. So let's talk about our present system of tenses, our present, future, and imperfect verbs. Let's start by reviewing the present tense. That in order to conjugate the verb amo, amare, amavi, amatus in the present tense, you know the equation that you take the stem vowel, you add a tense marker which doesn't exist for the present tense, and then you add your person and number endings. So for amo amare, you can find your stem from the first or second principal part. If you use the first principal part, you remove the O, so am. If you're using the second principal part, you remove the are, so am. Then you add the stem vowel, a for first conjugation, like amo amare with that are in the second principal part. Or for second conjugation, you add an e, like habere, the long ere in the second principal part. as I said, for present tense, you don't add a tense marker or tense sign because there isn't one for the present tense. And then you add your person and number endings, ost, mus, tis, end. So, amo, I love, amas, I am love, or you are loving, amat, he, she, it is loving, amamus, we do love, amatis, y'all are loving, and amant, they love. The imperfect tense follows a very similar pattern. You use your stem, stem vowel, tense marker, and person and number ending. For the imperfect and future, you do actually have a tense marker. For the imperfect, that is the letters BA. So let's practice by forming our imperfect forms of amo, amare, amawi, amatus, our nice first conjugation example. First, you start with the stem. Remember, you get the stem from the first principal part by removing the O, or from the second principal part by removing the long ARE. So, AM. Then you add the stem vowel. For first conjugation, that's an A, so ama. And then you add our tense marker, BA. This is true for first, second, and third person of both singular and plural. And then you add your person number endings, MST, mus, tis, end. Notice that there is a slight difference for your first singular. Instead of O, it is an M. And M is also an appropriate ending for first person singular verbs. So altogether, we have amabam, amabas, amabat, amabamus, amabatus, amabant. Remember, you can translate the imperfect tense with I was loving or I used to love. So amabam, I was loving, amabas, you were loving, amabat, he, she, it used to love, amabamus, we were loving, amabatis, y'all used to love, and amabant, they were loving. Let's look at the second conjugation. You form the imperfect tense verbs of this in very much the same way. The stem, stem vowel, tense marker, and person and number endings. They are the same tense marker and person and number endings for your imperfect, just like you had for the first conjugation. So you get your stem, you remove your EO from your first principal part or long ERE from our second principal part, so hob. You add our stem vowel. Because it is the second conjugation, that stem vowel here will be an E, so habe. And then your tense marker, BA, and your person and number endings, MST, mus, tis, end. So habe bam, I was having, habe bas, you used to have, habe bat, he, she, it was having, habe bamus, we used to have, habe batis, y'all were having, and habe bant, they were having. It's your turn to practice with the imperfect tense. Answer these 4 questions, pause the video, and then check your answers. You're right if you said that the second person plural imperfect active form of video videre is the videbatis, because you have to add the BA for your imperfect tense and tis for your second person plural to your stem and stem vowel, so videbatis. For the first person singular imperfect active indicative form of servo servare, you're right if it's servabam. The bam tells you it's imperfect in first person and singular. For how do you translate terebant, remember the BA tells you it's imperfect and the NT tells you it is third person plural. And tere tells you the verb is meaning to terrify or to frighten. So they were terrifying or they used to terrify. How do you translate Arabamus? We were wandering or we used to wander. The bamus is first person plural. We were, or we used to, and the era is the to wander, to go astray, to err, to make a mistake. So we were wandering, or we used to wander. Let's look at the other present system tense, the future tense. So remember, you can translate this as either I will see or I shall see, widebo. That just like your imperfect tense, the future tense has your present stem vowel, your tense marker. Here, your tense marker is bo, be, boo, and the person and number endings. So for amo, amare, and other first conjugation verbs, you start with your stem by removing your O or your ARE. So am, then you add your stem vowel. For first conjugation verbs, that will be in A. Then you add your tense marker to tell you that this verb is future. The first person singular uses bo. Notice that the O is already there and is what you recognize as a first person singular ending from the present tense, so we won't add a person and number ending to that. Second person singular uses be. Third person singular uses be. Be is also for first person plural, and the bi continues into the second person plural. Boo is in the third person plural because of your person number ending nt forces that I to change to a u. So after our tense marker, bo, be, boo, we add in our person and number endings, st, mus, tis, ent. So ama bo, I will love. Ama bis, you shall love. Ama bit, he, she, it will love. Ama bimus, we shall love. Ama bitis, y'all shall love. Ama bunt, they will love. The second conjugation, future active indicative verbs, are formed in very much the same way as your first conjugation. You start with your stem. Remember, take off the EO from your first principal part or ERE from your second principal part, and you have hob for hobio. Then to your stem, you add your stem vowel. Because it is a long ERE in the second principal part, it is a second conjugation verb, so you add an E. Then you add the tense marker, bo, be, boo. Then your person and number endings, st, mus, tis, ent. So habe bo, I will have. Habe bis, you will have. Habe bit, he, she, it will have. Habe bimus, we shall have. Habe bitis, y'all shall have. Habe bunt, they shall have. So now it's your turn to get some practice. Pause the video, answer these 4 questions, and check your work. For the third person singular future active indicative of video, you would be right if you added bit to your stem. So would a bit is the third person singular future active indicative of video. The verb serwa bimus is the first person plural future active indicative because the bi tells you it's future and the mus tells you it is first person and active. Then the translation of tere bis, you know that one because the s tells you it's second person singular, the bi tells you it's future, and the tere tells you it's to frighten or to terrify. When you add that all together, you get you will terrify or you shall frighten. How do you translate erabunt? You know, the bu tells you it's the future form of a verb meaning to wander, to err, to go astray, to make a mistake, and the nt is your third person plural. So they will wander or they shall terrify. Scratch that. They shall make a mistake. So, it is your turn to check your understanding. Here are 4 questions for you. Complete these tasks and then call me over. I will check your work. If you have questions, you may look back at earlier parts of the video or call me over. I can help you out, or you can look back at the rest of your notes. Good luck, and thank you for watching another video about the wonderful world of Latin.